What's up, y'all? Welcome to Sabrina Talks. I'm Sabrina if you're new. If you're not, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for joining me. Now today on Sabrina Talks, you already know what time it is. It's the end of the year, which means it's time to talk about my favorites of this year. So this video we're going to be talking about my favorite movies and TV shows from 2021. The next video I'll do will be my best and favorite songs of this year, and then the next video after that and probably the last video will be my favorite albums of the year. I don't know how we ended up at the end of the year already because I swear this year just started. Listen, this pandemic got my view of time all mixed up, so we're just gonna keep on rocking with what we got, and let's kick off this video with my honorable mentions of the year. First honorable mention I want to talk about is something I just recently seen like earlier this week, and that was Encanto. Now Encanto is Disney's latest animated movie. It's about a girl who has a magic family and she's the only one who doesn't have magic, and somehow all the magic goes away, so of course she has to go save the day. This movie has a fantastic soundtrack. I mean, all of the songs in this movie was just kiss. I was moving and grooving and feeling along with them. It also is surprisingly sad. I don't know what's with Disney and Pixar and all these animated movies about trying to make me sad as an adult. This is supposed to be happy fun times for kids. I always just end up leaving the movie sad and crying. Regardless, it's a very cute movie and I think you should watch it if you have not already because it's now on Disney Plus, hence how I saw it. So yeah, give it a chance. My second honorable mention is the movie Luca, which is another Disney animated feature. This movie is just incredibly cute. For Luca, I love this movie because it's just very wholesome. You know, we get a little spicy moments in there because, you know, it's a friendship movie, so the friends are gonna have to fight at some point. I love all of the characters. I love the animation design. It's so beautiful. This one gets a little bit sad. It doesn't get as sad as Encanto, but it gets a little bit sad in some of these plot points that they have, but all of it comes to a nice wholesome ending, so I really enjoyed that. So my third honorable mention is a TV series that's on Netflix actually, and it is a K-drama called Cinderella and the Four Knights. Now this show was wonderful. I only discovered it because one of my best friends was like, hey, I'm watching this K-drama, you should watch it with me because it seems like it'd be right up our alley. It absolutely was. It had dramatics, it had hilariousness, it was wholesome and cute and romantic, and it was just a great time. I never really watched K-drama, so this was definitely my first like dip into it, and it's just what I needed. It's very soap opera-y, it's very teen show-y, where it's just everything's dramatic and up to 10, and it's great. So if you have not seen that by any chance, I suggest you watch it. It's a great dip into the K-drama world. My last two honorable mentions are two movies you can find on Netflix, and that is Concrete Cowboy and Gunpowder Milkshake. Now I've already did a video on Concrete Cowboy, so I'll put that in the cards and you can go watch my review of that, but that's a great movie. I love Idris Elba, I love Caleb McLaughlin, I think that's his name. I think they did a great job. I love seeing black people do black people things. And then Gunpowder Milkshake was just some great action with a bunch of women. The storyline's, you know, not that wow and amazing, but it's still a great time. Action looks great. The cinematography looks great. Everything was just fun about this movie, so I suggest you watch that. With all my honorable mentions out the way, let's talk about my 5 favorite movies of the year, and then we'll get into my 5 favorite TV shows of this year. Starting off with the one that I'm sure you already know was going to be on this list, and that is Spider-Man No Way Home. The last MCU movie of the year, and they really showed out with this movie. Like, the villains were fantastic, the twists and the turns and the shocks and the awes, all of it was just so great. That theater experience, because I went on opening night. Listen, the pandemic has taken away a lot of things for us, but thankfully, even though the cases are on the rise again, we're still able to go to the movies and get that theater experience of everyone crying together and clapping together and whooping and laughing together. It was just amazing. It was just amazing. So another one of my favorite movies of this year is a movie I just recently saw, and I didn't even know too much about it before I got into it, but it is the movie Tick, Tick, Boom, starring Andrew Garfield.
I'm Jonathan Larson.
Now, this is a Netflix original, and I just was hearing a little chitter chatter about Andrew Garfield and how he's so great in this movie and how this movie was so fantastic, and I was like, you know what? I always like to have at least one time in a month where I just kind of watch a movie without knowing too much about it, and this was my movie. Lo and behold, this movie was a musical, and if you don't know me, I love me some musicals, so it was a very, very pleasant surprise. Also, Andrew Garfield. I mean, he really surprised me. I didn't know this man can sing, and he has such theatricality to him that I didn't even know he had. Oh, it was a great, great time. But if you don't know, Tick, Tick, Boom is a musical that the playwright Jonathan Larson made. And so they made it into a movie that describes his life leading up to his 30th birthday and him trying to get out a musical that he wanted to present to the world. So it's like a musical in a movie, but either way, it's such a fun time. If you love musicals, if you are definitely like a theater kid, this is the kind of movie for you. The third movie I want to talk about is the movie for Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is an anime that just came out, I think, in 2019, 2020, one of them years. I binge watched the whole entire series leading up to the day that this movie was being released because my brother was like, hey, I'm gonna go see this movie. It's amazing. It's an anime. You should go watch it. So of course I watched the trailer and I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely right up my alley. Watched the whole entire series and then went to go see the movie. Oh, when I tell you I was blown away. It was just fantastic on all accounts. The music, the animation, the story, the heartfeltness. It was great. I don't know what else to say without spoiling any of the things in Demon Slayer, but if you like anime, if you haven't seen Demon Slayer, you should definitely go do that. And if you do end up liking the series, please go watch the movie. The next movie I'm going to talk about is another Netflix original, and that is the movie The Mitchells vs. the Machine. This is an animated movie.
Mitchells have always been weird, and that's what makes us great.
You can kind of see I love me some animated movies, but this is another animated movie that is so comic booky. It kind of gives you like Into the Spider-Verse and like a little bit of Scott Pilgrim mixed with like a nice little family drama, family road trip movie. It's fantastic. It's hilarious. It's heartfelt. I love it. I love it dearly. If you're looking for a nice, comedy family drama that's animated, definitely go check out Mitchells vs. the Machine. The last movie I want to talk about is the silliest movie out of all of the other movies that I've mentioned, and it's something I didn't technically think I was going to put on my favorites list, but like thinking about all the movies that I've seen, this one really cracked me up the most, and that is The Suicide Squad.
This is suicide.
Well, that's kind of our thing.
I'm a superhero!
Listen, this movie was an absolute mess, but like in the best way. Everything about it was wild. Everything about it was ridiculous, but it just made for such a great time watching it. There's a literal like humanized shark in this movie, and he basically just eats people and starts talking in backwards forms, and it's hilarious. We do get some deeper moments, a little bit more intimate and kind of dramatic moments in this movie, but most of the time it's just a bunch of nonsense. Let's move on to my favorite TV shows of this year. Now, I had so much more of an easier time trying to remember my favorite TV shows than I did for trying to remember my favorite movies. I feel like TV this year really delivered for me. It really gave me everything that I needed. So let's get into some of my favorites. The first one I want to talk about is the one that surprised me the most, the one that had me shooketh the most, and that is the Prime Video original animated series based on the comic book Invincible. I knew nothing about Invincible. I didn't even know this thing existed, honestly. But one of the YouTube channels that I watch here over Forwards was like chitter-chattering about it because they have read the comics. And they was like, ooh, the new show is coming out. I can't wait. It's going to be great. They did their first like review of the first episode. And they were like, oh my God, it's amazing. You need to watch it. Everybody who has never seen Invincible, you need to watch it. And what did I do? I watched it because I was hearing chitter-chatter from them. I was hearing chitter-chatter on the internet. Everybody was talking about Invincible. And I was like, well, let me get onto this because it's a superhero story. I love me a superhero story, and everybody said the animation was really good. I love me some animation. Of course I'm gonna watch it. When I tell you, this show blew me away. I didn't even think I was gonna like it, truthfully, because it's more on the gory side, and I don't really do gory things that well. But thankfully it's animated, so it takes away some of the like of the goriness. But despite all of the goriness that I was like about, the drama, the storyline, the characters, the twists and the turn, all of it was spectacular. If you have somehow not seen Invincible, please go watch it. Calming it down a little bit, we're going to my second favorite TV show of this year, and that is MARE of EASTTOWN.
I'm gonna find out everything.
I believe this is like an HBO original, but it has Kate Winslet starring as the lead character, and it's about like a small town, and they have like some little mysteries going on, and MARE, who is the detective of the police department, needs to like try to figure out all of these mysteries that's going on. It's definitely the most grounded compared to all of the other shows I'm going to talk about. It's definitely the most realistic out of all of the shows. I don't think y'all know this about me just yet. Well, maybe because y'all see my Cruel Summer videos, but I love me a good murder mystery. I love me a good, you know, suspenseful, what the heck is going on in our town kind of show, and this is definitely it. Kate Winslet does a fantastic job, like trying to play this, you know, down on her luck small town detective who's just trying to make it day by day. All the supporting characters do a fantastic job. Like when I tell you, you sit there and watch this whole entire series and really believe that this small town exists and these people actually exist there, I mean it. It's just chef's kiss. I definitely suggest it. If you like that kind of small town, kind of intimate stories where you're just trying to figure out what the heck is going on, definitely give MARE of EASTTOWN a watch. My last three TV shows are all MCU TV shows that have just been released on Disney+. That is WandaVision, Loki, and What If. First, let's talk about WandaVision.
Wanda and Vision, aren't we a five-pair?
This is our home now. I want us to fit in.
Now, WandaVision was the first inkling of the MCU that we gotten since, you know, 2020 happened. And when I tell you they really knocked it out the park with WandaVision, I was blown away week by week by week with this show because it was just fascinating. It's a show about grief. It's a show about love. It's a show about someone who's just at their wit's end, and they deliver it in such a fascinating way. Like going through the decades of popular sitcom TV shows to show somebody's love and somebody's grief and the craziness that is happening, and we don't know what the heck is going on. I told you, I love a good mystery, and it was just by far one of my favorites out of the MCU Disney Plus shows. And also with this show, they already sold me with like the whole Wanda and Vision, you know, storyline that they had, but then they brought in Jimmy Woo, they brought in Darcy, and then they introduced us to Monica Ray and Bout. That trio? Listen, I need more of those three together doing hijinks and sneaking around because they were definitely the highlights of this show besides, like I said, Wanda and Vision. Next, let's talk about Loki.
Makes you sound super smart.
I am smart.
I know.
Okay.
Okay.
I already knew I was going to love this show because I always adored Loki. Him and Thor were always my favorites because they're definitely the most like sarcastic out of the Avengers. I just always really loved their dynamic. So to get a whole show about Loki and kind of delving into his character more, especially since we get this different version of Loki, because this is the Loki that sneaked off at the end of Endgame. We got Owen Wilson in there. His character complemented Loki so well. But what I truly, truly loved about this show is that we got to kind of break Loki down to his core and really just kind of put him out of his comfort zone. But my favorite episode of the Loki series, and probably my favorite thing they've done throughout the whole like Disney Plus MCU shows, is when they have their episode where Loki meets all of his other Loki variants. I'm not gonna say all of the variants that he sees and what happens in that episode because I guess that's technically kind of spoilers, but that episode is my favorite thing they've ever done because it's just nonsense from top to bottom and it's just a great time. But let's talk about What If.
It's changeable.
Journey to face the unknown and ponder the question.
What If is the first animated show out of all of the MCU TV shows, and it lets you kind of ponder the question of what if this character in the MCU is now this character in the MCU. And we get to explore that for different episodes, and at the end it all connects into a whole big thing where everybody kind of has to come together. I loved seeing more of Peggy Carter. I loved the Doctor Strange episode that they did. I loved the T'Challa episodes that they did. Those were great. What I love the most about What If is the fact that they changed the circumstances around these things, but they didn't change who the characters were or what their morals were or their values were. And they just kind of put them in a new setting. But that's basically all of the movies and TV shows that I really enjoyed this year. Now, I didn't get a chance to see everything that I wanted to this year, so there are going to be some things like Dune and West Side Story and Squid Games that are just not on my list because I didn't get a chance to see it. But I will definitely be watching Dune when it comes onto a streaming service, and I'll maybe do a review on that. I'm definitely gonna watch West Side Story, so maybe I'll do like a little quick review on my TikTok, so go follow me on TikTok. But yeah guys, that about wraps up my video for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below what are your favorites of this year. Let me know what you think of some of my favorites, if you've seen any of my favorites. Give this video a like, share it with your friends, all that good, you know, YouTube things. Subscribe to my channel because like I said, my next video will be my top songs of this year, and the video after that will be my top albums of this year. So I know you want to check that out. If you haven't seen my Spotify Wrapped, go check that out. Follow me on social media so like I said, we could talk more about things, so you can see my West Side Story review whenever I do eventually watch it. Maybe we could talk spoilers on my TikTok or my Twitter if you want. So follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SabrinaTalks2 and on TikTok at SabrinaTalks2U. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all are being safe out there because, listen, COVID is flying through these streets. As always, please be safe, be smart, be kind. I'm off to go get my booster shot, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye, guys.